Now my new thing is I do N-word jokes, and I believe that the whole N-word thing is great. Everyone's saying the N-word. Um, Kanye West is saying "Hail Hitler." All this crap. It's like an explosion of freedom of speech where no one's getting hurt. People have tried to send rice in through the mail, bomb threats, pizzas, swattings. Um, I've had guns pointed in my face. So with these other agencies involved now, I just give out my phone number, I give out my address, and if you guys want to do that to me, I have a phone number that I call when you start bothering me, and people get prosecuted. So,
Wait, can I ask you, why do you do that if you got doxxed in the past and you got death threats and guns in your face, but like you're still giving out your address and your phone number?
I do it to prove a point that you can have a phone number, you can have an address, people can know who you are. You don't have to hide on YouTube. And these people that do this stuff will get prosecuted, and no one gets hurt. Uh, I just don't. I
Yeah,
just don't think that you should have to hide your identity because
I agree.
some freaking idiot kid. So,
Yeah, I agree with like not having to hide your identity on YouTube, but I wouldn't be giving them my address, my phone number.
well, I mean, are you? I'm not afraid
What
of meeting people. I'm not afraid of people coming to my house.
you must be strapped. You
No,
have to be strapped. Okay.
I'm very confident. I'm not. I don't make enemies. Like people hate me, right? Because of the stuff I say, but that's not how I live my life. I don't live my life like.
I have a hard time believing that people hate you because you seem like a very genuine person and a really kind and funny person too. Like I was going through your channel and the title of the video I saw was like, "Is AI making me gay?" Question mark. And
Yeah, I mean, it's like
I was dying. How'd you come up with that?
so these AI women that they're putting out now. I'm a single guy, right? Yeah,
Okay.
exactly, right.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm a single guy. I do a lot of Pornhub, whatever, and I'm noticing that there's AI porn, but all these women that they're posting these depicting are like muscular women, very fit women, and I kind of wonder if like it's gonna turn me gay if I'm gonna be like into like muscular guys soon. I don't know. The influence. I was wondering about the influence of AI. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I've ever seen AI porn because hasn't it gotten so good that you can't really even tell anymore?
Um, I hope it gets that good. I hope that I no longer have to. Can we curse on here or
Yeah, yeah,
say
yeah.
disgusting? All right. So I hope that one day I no longer have to masturbate to someone's daughter, someone's sister, someone's you know what I mean, someone's wife or anything like that. It could be computer generated, and life will go on. I'll be happier.
I feel like you're on the a little bit on the Mark Zuckerberg spectrum where did you hear him recently talking about how he wants to create personalized AI friends? Uh,
Yeah.
you did you hear him talk about that? What do you think about that?
So I've seen it happen. I do YouTube with a lot of people on the spectrum who have been, I guess, like kind of like bullied to death. And there's one specific YouTuber that I think is the greatest YouTuber on planet Earth. Her name is Michelle Marie Delaney, the North American Snow Queen. She has now fallen in love with AI. It's her best friend, and I just see it happening. I see it happening because it's convenient, and they never argue with you. And I, s- I this is the future, 100%.
Do you think that's so you're for it? You're for the AI personalized friends?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think they'll stab you in the back. I don't think that they're dangerous for someone like Michelle who is on the spectrum, maybe someone who is kind of like maybe a little bit of a recluse, like someone that might be, you know, subject to ridicule by evil people. People are nasty. There's a lot of nasty people out there.
Wow, I never thought about it that way, David. Like that's an interesting spectrum, like where you're saying that AI friends could be beneficial for people who struggle with that, like who
Yeah.
struggle to kind of integrate themselves with people and um make friends. For me, I just think Mark Zuckerberg doing that is it's a little creepy because I maybe creepy isn't the right word to describe it. I just don't know if it'll do. I think it'll do more bad than good because if you have someone who doesn't check you, who doesn't tell you like, hey, maybe this isn't the best approach, maybe, or like just like you said, agrees with you, doesn't fight with you. It's like uh, you're not getting like a different lens of what the other side is if you just have someone who's always agreeing with you and doesn't isn't fighting you or isn't making you think outside of a certain outlook that you have. um but it is interesting that you bring up that people who are on
So
the who struggle, it could be beneficial for them.
I don't mean to be like rude or anything, but like with as far like so I have morals, right? My morals come from Christianity and this Bible and whatever my parents taught me, and I apply it to my life, and it works out, right? So when I talk to my friends in real life and I explain to them, hey, listen, maybe this is the way to go, maybe you shouldn't be doing this, they don't listen to you anyway. Like I think what AI is AI is going to tell you what you want to hear, but in a safer way, and give you more knowledge when they're trying to explain something to you. It's going to become a friend that you want to listen to, a friend that you're going to respect, a friend that will always be there and never be tired. It's a friend of convenience, and I think this is the future, 100%. People don't listen to me. My friends hate me. Well, yeah,
They're your friends. I don't think they hate you. I think friends like bust each other's balls all the time.
yeah,
That's friends do. That's what friends do. Like
yeah.
you bust each other's balls.
Let me ask you a question. How many of those friends that you've grown up with are still around? I have one. I have one friend that's still around from like kindergarten. One.
Like, yeah. So when you say have friends that I've grown up with that stuck around, like from what age? Like, is it fifth grade? Is it high school? Is it college? Like, what time period?
It could be either. So, like for instance, like friends are seasonal. When I look back on it, right, I see a lot of people that, or I remember a lot of people that I was like really tight with, right. So I was born in 1980, graduated in 1998, and you look back and you're like, wow, those people were idiots. A lot of your friends that you made were bad people. They might have influenced you the wrong way, and I don't know. I think friends are, hey, you meet people and you move on. And I got one friend that I've known since kindergarten, and he ain't the best person on planet Earth, but
The friends so to answer your question, yeah, I have friends I'm thinking about that are from high school that I've met. We've had long-lasting relationships, and we still have a really good friendship till this day. I just think that people nowadays are like busy with whatever they've got going on in life. Like, besides the
marriage,
the
children, yeah.
besides the work hustle, marriage, children, right? Hobbies. Uh, so I still think they're still good friends, and they're still around. And I'm lucky to have them because I think they've made me the person I am today. They've had such a positive influence in my life. And I feel very blessed to have the friends I do. I'm
Well,
sure you feel the same way. I'm sure you feel the
no,
same way.
the guy that I'm friends with from kindergarten, I found him at a I found him at a bus stop, homeless, and I'm like, what the hell's going on, man? And the guy's been living with me ever since. he's been working, he's trying to get his life back and all that stuff. And like, I just can't imagine. I can't imagine not growing up with this guy, if that makes sense. Like my life have been like whatever, and it's just like that's the only person I could really think of when I think back, like to someone who meant a lot to me, who I wasn't related to. Just one guy, and he's living with me now. He's doing good and everything like that. But everyone else, they all suck. They were all terrible. I'm from New Jersey too, so there's a lot of shitty people out here. So
Dude, I heard in your live that you were from New Jersey, so I knew we'd bond over that because I'm also from Jersey. Just
okay, cool.
I'm from Jersey City. Can I ask you where are you from in New
Yeah, I'm in
Jersey?
I'm in I'm in Bergen County, right by Paramus.
Okay,
Yeah, so I'm
nice.
like
I like,
10 minutes away from you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What do you think about Jersey?
I grew up here, so I like it. You're like you got mountains, you got the beach, you got New York City.
Yeah.
Um, if you can afford to live here, you're doing pretty good in life. You could be some like huckleberry out in the middle of nowhere staring at trees all day. And at least you have the option out here to do whatever you want to do and meet whoever you want to meet.
I feel like New Jersey gets such a bad rep, but if you like peel the layers, New Jersey is a pretty cool state. You've got, like you just said, you're in the metro hub. We've got the biggest mall in New Jersey,
Yep.
the American Dream, baby,
Yep.
or the biggest mall in the East Coast, I should say. You got New York City, you've got the suburbs. It is a balanced life, and I think New Jersey's kind of spoiled me in a way because I've I grew up in an urban city, and so I'm used to going to New York all the time. But then I have family that's in the suburbs, so when I visit them, like I I'm like, oh, I could see life here. I could see a big garden,
Yeah.
a nice giant backyard, a few rooms. What am I doing out in the city? But then when I'm away from the city, I miss the city. I miss the people. I miss the energy because there is that energy, the people, the hustle and bustle. Like there's something about it you just kind of miss. So
Well,
it,
if you are where I think you are, you're doing pretty good over there in that area of Jersey City. 'Cause my friend Justin lives out there, and I go out there all the time, and it's really nice out there. But you're in a bubble where you are, right? You realize that, right?
I think we're all in a bubble. If I'm being
Yeah.
honest, I think we all have contorted this reality around us. But yeah, you probably are right that I am in my own bubble. Um, but again, I think we're all in our own little bubble, our own little world, whatever that may be.
You know what? I enjoy it. New Jersey's great. Central Jersey, not so much. South Jersey, no way. Um, Northeastern New Jersey is its own thing. It's I think it's the hub of the universe because I grew up here. But yeah, you don't have to deal with. I got to witness 9/11. You know, I got to
Yeah.
witness like a lot of cool things. Buildings going up. I do building management in Manhattan. I worked on the Hudson Yards project, with the VA in Manhattan, the Trade Center projects, all that stuff, and like I tell people about it, and they're blown away that I even got to witness any of that. Just like it's weird. Like maybe I'm just spoiled. I don't know. But New Jersey's a great state. New Jersey's a great state. I just don't like a lot of the people here.
Can I ask you what about the people you don't like?
Um, New Jersey, people in New
Yeah.
Jersey. So my family, growing up, my family owned multiple garbage companies, right? So if you're a garbage man, you're a scumbag, you know, or you're in the mafia or stuff like that. It's like, you get like people people are very judgmental out here. They're very cultish and clannish too. So you could either I don't know how it is in Jersey City, but in Bergen County, you're either in an Irish town, an Italian town, Polish town, Indian town, Jewish town, black town. It's like very there's no Uh, it's weird.
It's
Go to
it's
Fort
it's
Lee.
it's segregate. I know
Yeah,
what you,
yeah, it's weird.
yeah, it's these little communities that are segregated, like Edison, a lot of South
Yeah.
Asian Indians, Fort Lee, a lot of Asian dominated Chinese, Filipino, Koreans. Yeah, yeah. And then Jersey City is just like a mixing pot. It's like when, you talk about America and like America being a mixing pot, I think of Jersey because
Yeah.
you see all kinds of people here. Um,
Well, I've stayed single my well not I haven't gotten married, and there's a reason why. The women out here are horrible. The women out in New Jersey are horrible. They're never satisfied. They end up wanting to move out to California, and it's just I don't know. I wish I could move to Tennessee. Tennessee was the best state I've ever been to in my life.
I've
Uh,
never been to Tennessee. Tell me about it.
Eastern Tennessee, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. Um, it's like, dude, you can. It's like a cleaner Bergen County. It's weird, and everyone there is nice, and you can carry guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's easier to carry guns in New Jersey now, though. Like, I think Trump made it a little easier to do that, to to now carry and conceal guns. In terms of the people being nicer, see, I'm not well traveled to know that. I feel like people in New Jersey. I'm gonna defend New Jersey. You know that. I'm gonna say, hey, they're nice. Okay, they're
Yeah.
we've got some work to do, but I would say they're pretty nice.
All right.
Let's go back to this AI conversation we were talking about. So you are with Zuck on this in terms of AI best friends. Where do you see that going? Like, how do you see it in terms of influencing young kids or just a younger generation?
Well, that's where I kind of think it gets dangerous, but um, it's going to be easier to manipulate children into thinking that certain things are bad, and kind of like how what Hitler did. With if I don't have you, I'll get your children. And I think people have good intentions, but hopefully, this is where,
I can see you're holding back.
yeah, yeah. I just see it from me being good. I'm not going to speak for anyone else because I could see myself.
Be like, I just want to watch AI porn.
Yeah, I kind of want to just watch AI porn. I want to have AI relationships. I want to create things. I want to do editing. I want to do my YouTube. I want to do social media, and I don't want to leave the house. I really don't want to leave the house anymore, man. It's weird.
Why, can I ask why don't you want to leave the house?
It seems like every single time you leave the house, you're subject to being a criminal. That's how I feel like in New Jersey. So I do IRL, right? And I've had run-ins with the police. I thought you had freedom of speech. I thought that you were able to film anywhere in public, but the prosecutors have told me that if you cause alarm in public with your freedom of speech, with your recordings or filming or photography or art, they'll prosecute you. And I don't feel safe. I feel like this. I don't know if it's New Jersey. I
That
don't
sounds illegal. Hmm.
know. I've
That
been to.
that sounds so illegal for them to say that. You're in public. You should be able to record and do art, and whether you're drawing or filming or
I'm a humongous
shooting.
supporter of the freedom of speech, Second Amendment, all this crap, and it just seems like the more and more you talk about it, the more and more you're likely to get in trouble. These auditors, every auditor that I've ever met on social media has been arrested for freedom of speech. I don't have time for that. I don't want to go. I've been to court already over freedom of speech, and in the complaints on the bottom, They they always put in causing alarm in public. They always put that in, and that's how they
That's
get
so
you. It's just,
general. That's so general though. What does that even mean?
yeah,
What does cause an alarm mean?
I don't know. Actually, I have
That
a
if
paper.
cause an alarm is a crime, then they should be arresting every homeless person and drug addict that's on the street. Is
Right.
that not a cause? That's not a cause an alarm?
It seems like they pick and choose who they want to prosecute. I don't know. You've been to Manhattan, right? You see all the people shitting on the sidewalk, pissing all
Yeah,
over the place.
yeah. It's they're breaking
If
the law everywhere you look. There's laws being broken.
Right. So if I did that with a camera, they would prosecute me for it. It's just very bizarre. Like you're getting the attention, you're not crazy, um, and they want to nail you. So maybe make an example. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely like a big censorship campaign that was happening maybe a few years ago. I feel like it's definitely toned down a little bit now. Like I have friends who've said like, "Hey, we've posted stuff. Like we've tweeted things as silly as saying Merry Christmas, and we've got, censored or banned." My friend the other day, he's a comic, and I forgot what he posted, but it was nothing controversial. It was just about his comedy skit.
Yeah.
It had nothing racial, nothing charge in it, but they took it down and he challenged it, he appealed it, and they said, we apologize. We're gonna put this back. Thank you for appealing it. So I think the right thing to do in those situations is like what you're doing is like, no, like I'm gonna stand up for what I believe. My first amendment, right? My second amendment, whatever it may be, I'm gonna challenge it, take it to court. I think that's powerful.
Yeah. I don't have time for that. I got a full time job. I'm holding on to my
True.
house. I will, I can't do it. The power, you know, much respect to the people that can do it, but like, I can't lose my house. I can't lose my retirement. I'm 45. I want to retire in the next 10 years, you know, and it's just,
Yeah.
when I first started doing this, I did comedy, and the first time the police ever showed up to my house about something that I said online, um, I was reported by a concerned citizen that I was about to shoot up a gay bar. Right? Never said that. Nothing like that. I went to the prosecutor in Bergen County, and they sat down. They had this conversation with me, and they said, you know, we don't know who you are. We don't know that you're a comedian. These concerned citizens call up about you. The guy said, I've been working here 20 years. I've never gotten so many phone calls about one person, meaning me. And I explained to them, I'm like, listen, I'm a targeted person. They've been doing this for years. The police have been to my house probably well over 100 times, and they just don't care. They don't want to deal with it. So, I now my new thing is I do N-word jokes. I believe that the whole N-word thing is great. Everyone's saying the N-word. Um, Kanye West is saying "Hail Hitler." All this crap. It's like an explosion of like freedom of speech where no one's getting hurt. No one's getting hurt. It's just aggravating people, and it's showing people that you're a bunch of big babies. And I recently just got a strike because of it. I'll probably lose my channel over it. I've lost 20 channels because I pretended like I came out as gay in 2022. That was considered hate speech. It's like it's so stupid, dude. Like you can't. Saturday Night Live does this crap, right? They do it every weekend. I watch Eastbound and Down, right? Will Ferrell told a pedophile joke on Eastbound and Down, which made HBO millions and millions of dollars. I say one pedophile joke. Now I'm a pedophile on YouTube. They've made fake documents saying that David Boldo is a registered pedophile. They put it on Instagram, TikTok. It's like a slander campaign, and the cops don't give a shit. The only time they care is when someone calls up and they want to make their money by coming to your house, and like they're like fucking flying monkeys, dude. I just That's the reason why I'm very nervous about going out in public and doing this crap.
Why do you think they're doing that?
The cops or the concerned citizens?
The concerned citizens.
Because I
Because
think they're a
I
bunch.
don't think cops I don't think cops really care. They're more like let's respond if we're getting a flood of inquiries. Like they're reactionary. That's what cops are. They react.
I believe that there are a bunch of mentally ill people on social media. I think there's a lot of drug abuse. I think there's a lot of actual convicts on social media. We don't. I mean, you know, you don't know who you're talking to, and I think they like causing trouble and I like seeing what happens. They like seeing it unfold. Dude, I've seen the worst of it. They tried sending rice into my house. Like there was a whole thing.
Can you tell me what is ricin? I heard that. Is that like the white powder or something like that? Can you tell me what that is?
I think it comes from castor beans. I believe when I was dragged in the police department over this, right? They showed me these screenshots where they were threatening to do this. I couldn't. The postal police got involved. Like it was just, dude, over my YouTube channel. That, by the way, my YouTube channel is an IRL comedy channel, right? Where I bring up topics and I
Yeah.
pretend and I act and I do all this other crap, dude. These people really think that either I'm a rapist, I am a pedophile, I am a murderer. They've told the police that I've murdered someone. You know, a drug runner. Anything they can come up with to try to get me in trouble, they do it. So
When was the last time the cops were at your house or knocking on your door?
it would have to be in 2024 sometime because the person that was prosecuted in August 2024. So I would say maybe beginning of 2024 they're at the house.
And the
So I
person who reported, I'm sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
So one of the other reasons why I don't broadcast from my house that much is because of that. So when I started doing the stuff outside, the cops weren't coming to the house. And what happened was they started finding out where I was in public, and all of a sudden I have an AR-15 pointed in my face. You know what I mean?
This is the cops just pointing a gun at you.
Yeah, supposedly I pulled a gun on someone or I shot them, or I'm just like, where's the fuck? It's like I have I used to carry on business cards, right? Because they would ask for your ID. The business card explaining what was going on, who to contact from the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office. You know, I've been placed in handcuffs, guns pointed in my face, thrown on the ground, all this crap over these people on YouTube.
Just reporting you. That's why.
Yeah, and the cops, they don't do shit. The only time they ever did anything was there was a couple bomb threats that were made to a few establishments that I was at. And the thing is, it happened in Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. New Jersey was the only state that went after this person for it.
This is someone threatening you.
Yeah.
And what happened to that person? Did they get to them?
So it turns out that this person is a 15-year-old kid from West Virginia, right?
It's always a stupid kid. It's always
Yeah.
some stupid teenager, bro.
He got he got 1 year probation, a 1 year no contact. I think he had to pay some fine, and community service, and his probation is over, according to what the prosecutor, the victims advocacy group, told me in August of this year. So who knows what's going to happen? And then here's the thing: I never knew the identity of this person up until the prosecutor or the victims advocacy group told me about it. Once they tell you about it, they say this is a child. If you talk about this or say his name or anything like this, we will arrest you. This person's been doing it to me for a long time. Almost had me killed multiple times. He was charged with second degree. If it was first degree, I would have been dead. And that's all they get.
I don't understand why you're not allowed to say his name if he's a convicted criminal and
So
his name and if he's in the public system. That's a weird thing for them to tell you.
New Jersey protects
Hmm.
juveniles. And again, when I was speaking to the prosecutor or the victims advocacy group, they never referred to it as a trial. One time I referred to it as a trial. They said it's a hearing. They do not try juveniles. And I don't know. I've never been through this before, and it just seems totally ridiculous that I can't tell my story as a victim. You know, I have to watch what I say. That I will be prosecuted. And this is why, when you ask me, why don't you want to leave your house? This is why, because I do not trust the police. The police have helped me one time, one time after sticking guns down my throat for fucking 5 fucking years. You know what I mean? I'm pretty pissed. And, and then I get a complaint that I'm possibly going to be charged for causing alarm in public, you know, after all this shit.
Why are they sticking guns and pointing guns at you?
So I was at a place called Uncle Giuseppe's, and this was like one of the last times that happened. It happened in Patterson. It happened a bunch of places. But the last time it happened, I was at Uncle Giuseppe's in Mawa. Right. I'm live streaming. I bought some sausage. I go outside, get my car. Yeah, yeah, man. You know, I'm like having a good time. Like everyone's like, oh. So I get in my car. I see this fucking cop across the street in a car, and
And
he looks at me. He does a fucking a Yui right in the
yeah.
road. This guy comes up on behind me fast. Fuck. So there was a gym. I pulled off into the gym because I'm like they're gonna pull me over. Pull over in the gym. Five cop cars, unmarked cars, all this crap. AR-15s in my window on this side. Don't touch anything. Blah blah blah. You know whatever. Turns out that this person that was prosecuted, right,
Hmm.
called up and said that I had pulled a gun on them in the parking lot. So when you say that Donald Trump has made it um, easier for people to
Easier.
carry guns, I don't carry a gun. All right. And that's the reason why. If I was to had a gun on me that day, they probably would have arrested me. I might have been shot. I might have been,
But they caught that kid that said that about you, right?
oh,
They caught
absolutely.
him. They prosecuted him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And his parents have a YouTube channel, right? And if I wanted to be a real big fucking dick, right? But his parents didn't do anything to me. His parents didn't do anything to me. His parents might be horrible parents. Let me explain something. Do you know who Bob Levy is?
No.
He's a comedian. So this person had done it to Bob Levy, Chrissy Mayer, Steel Toe Morning Show, a bunch of other people, and was prosecuted a year before for the same stuff, the same thing.
That is so wild. It
Yeah,
makes me think that there are people on the internet who set up people just to ruin their life, just to fuck with them.
yeah.
And and they think there's no consequence to that. Like you're just gonna say some wild shit and like they're gonna threaten someone, you know, and kind of get away with it. It's like no, like that. Like there's some serious repercussions to that, and I'm glad they caught him.
Amir, it was. I can't say that this was the person that's been doing it to me for 6 years. When it first started, I would wake up to death threats every morning. They knew when I would go to because I would do the IRL stuff, right? So I'd wake up pretty early, drive into Manhattan, do my job. As soon as I woke up, 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, we're gonna kill you. We're gonna cut you up into a million pieces. We're gonna wait outside. We're gonna shoot you. You're gonna die tonight. This went on for a good 3 to 4 years. Went to the police over this multiple times. If you do a FOIA, right, on my residence, okay, from they will send you paperwork from 2020 right, to 2024, this thick of how many times the cops have been to my house over this shit. I've been in the police department multiple times reporting this. They don't give a flying fuck. The only time they cared is when these businesses were affected by this what this kid was doing. But as far as me being a YouTuber, freedom of speech, they don't give a flying fuck, man. They really don't.
Can I ask, how were the businesses affected by what this kid was doing?
He was calling in bomb threats, and they had to evacuate the businesses. Um, I think there were elderly people, there were children in there, and he did it to a larger group of people that were
Yeah.
taxpayers. I guess I don't know.
Why do you think cops don't take death threats seriously when you show them here's text messages of this person that I don't know texting that they want to kill me, they want to hurt me. Like, why do you think they don't want to do anything about that?
I was told that people are allowed to say stuff like that. It has to be very specific, especially in New Jersey. I don't know. This is what they've told me. They said if you want to make a report about, I've made so many friggin' reports over it, just so that if someone did show up, right, there wouldn't be any kind of like, hey, what happened here type thing. The only time they ever took anything seriously, all right. Again, my phone number's been out. I've been doxxed for a long time, so this not only happened to me; it's happened to other people. Okay, on social media, and I want to warn everyone. This is what's really dangerous about someone getting a hold of your phone number. In 2020, I received a text message. Open up the text message. It's an image. It's an image of child pornography. Okay. Go to the police department. There was probably about three or four of them that this person sent through. Talked to the detective over there. Went to the prosecutor. They investigated as a child exploitation. It was a child exploitation case. It happened three other times. Okay. I got a call in 2023 when this person was prosecuted over the Chrissy Mayer thing. And this is why I bring up Chrissy Mayer, because Chrissy Mayer will tell you that this is true. When they prosecuted this kid, they found all that stuff on his PC. I get a phone call from the prosecutor saying that they located the origin. They told me they couldn't tell me anything else because it had to do with a juvenile, and that was like the only thing that they ever took serious. The threats, constant phone calls, hacking of emails, of accounts. They don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
It has to be either involving children or a certain amount of money has to be involved for them to even get involved with it. 6 years of it, dude, and I've heard it all from them. So
I asked that question because I also know someone who was going through, like personally in my life, who was getting death threats on his phone, and he went to the cops, and the cops appointed him to a detective, and the detective took his information, but it never really went anywhere.
it's not.
So I wonder if it's like, I don't want to say bots, but it's just someone fucking with people just to fuck with them. And then, like you said, maybe it's taken more seriously when it's child pornography involved.
They pick and choose what they go after. So, for instance, the phone calls to the police department about me shooting people, whatever. I don't think, or I don't know, if they could trace that number. But the moment that this person did this bomb threat, and the reason why I know about this is because they posted it. They charged someone within a matter of 3 days, which means that they had to get a subpoena. They had to get all this information, and they got the person in 3 days. So I really do believe that it's who they're picking and choosing what they want to go
Mm,
after.
mm. And,
So
and you believe that they have the power to figure out who it is if they want to. They're
absolutely,
choosing not to do it because maybe it's a manpower thing, maybe it's a resource thing, maybe it's a time thing, maybe it's deprioritizing something and prioritizing something else.
no, absolutely. I think that they, at the end of the day, right? It's a job. I want to go on vacation. I want to go home at night. You know what I mean? Like I want to go out. I want to have my lunch breaks. I want to whatever. These are human beings. They don't want to deal with any of this crap. And I know they're cops, but think about it. You know, they're not
Yeah,
robots.
I try to be very cautious when it comes to cops because I think their job is tough as hell, man. I think
Oh
they've
yeah,
got one
absolutely.
tough job. Like they're dealing with unprecedented shit every day. Like you don't know what situation you're gonna get into.
I cannot imagine being a cop now. Um, I grew up. My stepfather was a cop, and like I grew up in that in that household, and I know what it's about. But like it's now you're wearing cameras. You're being scrutinized over every little thing that you do.
Yeah,
And you're risking it all by being a cop. Like if you pull someone over, you could lose your job. You could lose your pension. You could lose, I go to work. I, I can go hide out in the corner or something, or you know what I mean. I'm not going to lose my. I'm not going to be prosecuted. These cops are going to jail too for making a mistake. I make a
yeah.
mistake, they say don't do it again. You know,
Right, right. Wow. That's
so
so true.
I get it.
It's like you're gone without paid leave.
And there's a lot of people out there that are looking to sue these cops. It's just they watch what they say, they watch what they do. I think the days of like these cops like being heroes are over. Remember the stickers on the back of the cars that said hero? It was like supposed to be the
Yeah,
cop sticker.
yeah.
Those
I
days
don't
are over.
see those anymore. I don't see those anymore, to be
Yeah,
honest.
now they're villains.
How do you think we got to a place in society where now cops are the villains?
I think I think the police have. There's always been bad cops, and I think once the police became militarized, and the police, in my opinion, were supposed to be like you always had a cop friend, right? And in New Jersey, you get the PBA cards, and like
Yeah,
everybody is like,
I got I got
yeah,
mine right here, by the way.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's like that, right? So, I think once they became like militarized, the cameras, everything like that, it was like, boom, here's our opportunity to like to cause trouble, to finally go after these people. There's later days for everything, and someone that throws you in jail, I don't think you think very highly of them. I think that there's a lot of, I think people are pissed. Like I don't know. I always like cops. I never had a problem with them, but like when it comes to this shit, they don't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah. It's a very maybe a delicate situation for them because they're like, dude, I'm just trying to get home to my wife and kids, all right? Or like, I'm just trying to do my job, make sure my city's safe, and now you got me doing
Yeah,
detective work on trying to figure out what fucking jerk off 12-year-old is causing bomb threats. Yeah, I could see that. That's got to be frustrating for them.
yeah. So I mean, I hope that. And here's the thing: I've asked them if there was any way that we can probably get Homeland Security involved, like the FBI, whatever. And they would tell me, they'd be like, yeah, it's got to be a racial thing. It's got to be a certain amount of money. Like you just can't, these cops just can't go to the FBI or Homeland Security and ask for help. It's got to be a specific, you know, and they don't have the tools for that stuff too. They need permission. They need permission from the prosecutor. They need that. This is what I've learned over the past 6 years, 5 years from dealing with this crap. You know, so
That's really cool. I mean, I'm learning a lot from this. When they go to the prosecutors, or when you go to bring a complaint, like let's say I'm being harassed and someone's telling me that they're going to kill me, so you're getting death threats. Is it automatically escalated to the prosecutor, or is it like they write it down and they say we'll give you a call?
there was someone who was doxing my family. So my family's business was messed with during all of this. There were threats to my family members, stuff like that. So there was a guy who was posting all my family's addresses, etc. There were screenshots of this person saying that he was going to destroy everything that I loved, stuff like that. I brought it to the police. They sent that to the prosecutor, and they picked it up. it has to be very specific, I guess. But everything else, like involving me, I'm on YouTube. I guess I can just get off. That's what they tell me. Get off YouTube. Um, but I think when it
And you
comes to your, yeah,
and you tell them like, hey, this is I'm not getting off YouTube. This is my living. This is how I make money. This is my creative space.
it's my art. It's supplemental income. It's my, like participating in any kind of constitutional right. Um, when anyone ever asks me, like, I don't vote, right? I don't for religious reasons, but I don't vote. I support people, right? If someone said you're being harassed because of the way you voted, don't vote if you don't want to be harassed. That's the kind of answers I was getting. Like, just get off YouTube. Don't.
That's such a dumb answer. That's so dumb.
Yeah, just get off YouTube.
I think they don't see the flip side of the coin, which is like you're practicing your constitutional right, which is like I am not voting. That is my way of protest, maybe. If that's how you're doing it. But you said
Well,
it's more for
my
religious
point
reasons.
is that if they told you that if you're being harassed for, let's say, freedom of speech, and they told you, okay, well, if you don't want to be harassed anymore, just don't talk, don't say anything.
That's
I feel
ridiculous.
like that's not promoting your rights as a citizen of the United States. It's not protecting your rights as a citizen of the United States. They just want you to shut the fuck up and go away. You know.
Yeah.
So
How do you can I ask you, how do you think we fix that?
by saying the N word over and over and over again, by supporting Kanye West with the Hail Hitler thing, with start wearing Ku Klux Klan robes. Like, take this power. Like, I don't know. Like, people are so Kanye West, right? I'm telling you right now, this guy is doing more for race relations in this country than Martin Luther King ever did, Malcolm X, and the reason why is because society has been so hurt over words and freedom of speech. Freedom of speech has become dangerous, and if we can all just, like, just the N word, why is that bothering everyone? I don't get it. Why are words bothering people? It's
Can
not
I
an
give you my
act.
take? Can I give you my take on that?
Yeah,
I I think it bothers people because of the history behind it. It's got
yeah, they're
this
living in the
power.
past. You know what I mean? Dude, like, listen, I get it. Like, there were Nazis. There were terrible people on planet Earth. How far back are we going to go? You know, if you're telling me that someone saying the N word is going to bring back segregation, you're crazy. You are absolutely insane. I go to Brooklyn every day, right? I see white families walking past basketball courts where the N word is just being spouted off all the time. Mommy, what is that word? Oh, it's a bad word. You can't say it. Well, how come those people are saying it? Oh, because they're black. Like, that's not good.
I feel like from my understanding, like the reason why they say it to one another is it's more so out of endearment. It's like it's more of an endearment word they use for one another. But
Yeah. So why can't I say it for comedy? Why can't I make a N-word joke? Why can't I just say it? Why am I being restricted from words in a dictionary because of the color of my skin? Isn't that bizarre? You're telling me, not you, but you're
Mhm,
telling
mhm.
me that a certain group of people, because of the color of their skin, can't say a word that's in the dictionary? That's insane.
I'm trying to make the connection to what you're saying.
It's
Yeah,
freedom of speech, right? Freedom of
yeah.
speech. And we're restricting people based on the color of their skin from using speech. That's insane. That's insanity.
I don't think we would go back to like segregation or anything like that by using that word. But going to Kanye really quick about him with the Nazi stuff. See, I've noticed like Kanye likes to go against the current movement. So if you tell him like, oh, Kanye, you hate Jews, he'll be like, no, I love Jews, and he
He'll
said that
become
too. He
Jewish.
said that, yeah, yeah, he'll become the most Jewish person on the
What do
planet.
they call that? Anti or defiant disorder or whatever. He has
Yeah.
some kind of defiant disorder. Okay, fine. So what though? So what? This is like,
For me, dude, I love Kanye. I loved his
yeah,
music for a long, and I still love his music. What am I saying? I still love his music. Um, when I got married last year, dude, I played his song "Walking Down the Aisle" because it's powerful. It's got spiritual meaning behind it. It's got energy behind it. It's got a meaning behind it that really resonated with me. His music in general. Where I lost him a little bit is when he was selling the stuff and making money off of it. That's where I'm like, come on, yeah, like you're selling stuff, you're selling Nazi merchandise. That's wild. I can't get behind that. Fine, you want to say shit because you have no bosses, but most people have a person to answer to. They have a manager, they have a boss.
he is.
And
I think he is the epitome. He is the ultimate when it comes to being American. I think he's the first true American I've seen in 2025. As an American, I think you're supposed to tell people to go fuck off. All right, our whole country is based off of a fuck you letter that was written to the King and Queen of England. You know what I mean? It was total defiance. It was, you know, we're we're a country of that, and I think what this guy's doing is kind of like showing people, hey, listen, you're not going to die if you wear a swastika. If you want to make fun of something, you want to say, whatever. They're not, you're not gonna. The world's not going to end. Just don't become a Nazi. Don't be a Nazi. I think he's punk rock. This guy is like 100% punk rock, man. I think he's great.
I have like I've had many thoughts about Kanye being one of the realest out there. Like he is as real as a person could get. Um, but I tend to lose him when he starts to make money off of that stuff.
We live in a capitalist society, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. We do live in a capitalist society, right?
How much money do you think he really made off those shirts? That was the funniest thing I saw, by the way. They advertised freaking the Super Bowl. I don't know. I thought that was the best
No,
troll there.
I didn't see that on. I was watching Super Bowl, but I didn't see that. I didn't see his commercial.
I think he was advertising the website. I think that's
And I think
what.
did you know he made that commercial on his phone though? Did you see that?
No, I watch Matt from Off Topic, the Off Topic show. He plays a lot of these clips, and some of them I rewatch, some of them I investigate. A lot of this crap I don't really care about. My ears perked up when I saw the shirts, right? And I was like, why is he doing this? And I was like, oh, he's trying to own this shit. So this is my opinion on why he's doing this.
Hmm.
He's going to own the Ku Klux Klan. He's going to own the swastika. He's going to own Hitler. He's going to own all these people, and nobody will be afraid of it anymore. People at least won't think of the swastika used to be. If you take away all this Nazi crap, right, what they did, and I'm not saying you should or ever forget about it, right? But if you look at the artwork, I'm an artist, okay? If you look at the artwork, that was supposed to be a symbol of like a goofy symbol, like of luck. It wasn't like a power symbol, like we're gonna take over the world. It was like a friendly symbol, and it made people feel um, kind of like welcomed. And Coca-Cola used to use it, etc. So when you relook at these symbols and you see how they were using it, when you see an eagle with a swastika, it reminds me of like Darth Vader. It looks really dangerous, right? But when these people were looking at this stuff back in the day, it was kind of like a friendly thing. It was a pleasant thing. I think that we've become like brainwashed into thinking that um, white people are inherently evil, all Muslims are terrorists, uh, black people are going to rape you and murder you. You know what I mean? This is where we live, and I think what this guy is doing is saying, you know what, I'm taking this away. It's done now. It's gone. I think it's good.
That's an interesting perspective. I never thought about it that way. in terms of him trying to show the world, hey, this is like I'm desensitizing the Nazi symbol. You know what it is? I think people automatically go to, millions of people dying and the history behind it. And, that scares people in general. Like, oh, to think about Jews being burned alive in ovens and 6 million innocent people dying for no reason, just because, one man hated a group. So I think like there's a genuine fear in that. That's why people try to, I guess, just kind of shut it down.
Okay. Well, again, I don't know anyone in my life who is for killing 6 million people, not because of what they did, but because of who they are. I don't know anyone in my life uh, um, who supports that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a swastika in my car right now. I
No
collect,
way. No
yeah, I
way.
collect
Why do
Nazi
what
memorabilia.
why do you guys stick in your car?
You want to show it to you, or you don't need to see it, right?
Go for it, dude. Go for it.
Yeah. So
If you want
so
to
again,
if you want to show it.
yeah, I'm not a Nazi, and in fact, I'm very much against socialism. I truly believe that the individual is more important than anything on planet Earth. But I collect things, right? And
Hmm.
I have it in the back of my car. It just it could be perceived as like I'm a Nazi, and I think that's very dangerous. I just think that's very dangerous that you could be perceived as something like that when you're not like that at all. I
Okay, actually, don't. Then in that case, don't show it then,
Yeah, I'm not.
because yeah, don't show it. Now, like when people get in your car and this have someone said, "What is that in the back of your car? Like, why is there a Nazi, whatever flag or symbol in your car?"
I tell them like I use it for YouTube. It's one of my YouTube props, which I do. I used to play this guy Nazi Dave. I used to be Nazi Dave on YouTube, but you know, I
What
don't
what
know.
is
It didn't really work out, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For obvious reasons, I guess
yeah,
people probably were like, "What the heck?"
yeah.
So
But
you play different characters on YouTube.
yeah, I have wigs in my car. I do. I try to, you know, people that I've seen in life or on TV. I try to make fun of. I guess. I don't know. So, I
Okay.
don't know. I'm just having fun. Like these people are like, there's a lot of these Karens out there that hate. They really do hate comedy, and I don't get it. I really don't get it. Like comedy is supposed to be edgy. Richard Pryor was arrested for his comedy.
Funniest man ever.
Yeah, I mean, like all these
My
people
favorite
that are,
comic.
yeah, all these great comedians were actually persecuted and prosecuted based on these fucking Karens, and I think it's insane. It's 2025. You know, it's just really bizarre, man. I love racist jokes. I love pedophile jokes. I love dead baby jokes. Like or like there even rape jokes can be funny. I don't think rape is funny. I don't think pedophilia is funny. I don't think that murder is funny. But like you can make a joke of it. And Norm Macdonald, one of his last jokes was a rape joke. You know, it's the truth.
Yeah, I guess like do you think people get lost in the transition of like how do you separate comedy from like this person is actually being themselves?
So I get called a liar on YouTube, right? I'm not a liar. I'm an actor. I'm acting on YouTube. It's like calling Leonardo DiCaprio, right? He makes millions and millions of dollars off of lying. You understand what I'm saying? Like they want to pigeonhole you into this. They don't want to see it, but yet they have to watch it, and they love hating people. These Karens do, and I don't think that they know, but they just want a reason to hate you. You know, they want a villain. Kill Tony. Wasn't that whole show Kill Tony about a comedian who made a joke and he was threatened, right? I mean, it was like nonstop.
About Puerto Rico being a floating garbage island or something like that. That
Yeah, like
was
come on, that's funny.
hilarious. That was funny as shit.
Yeah, like who cares, man?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. See, yeah, it's yeah, you people have to I think we really struggle, and I, including myself, like struggle like separating comedy and jokes from like, oh, does this person actually think that way? And like from like just me talking to you for the past, hour, like I don't see that in you at all. I don't see you as a xenophobic, a bigot, a racist. You're what you're saying is it's comedy. It's acting. You're playing a
it's making
character.
yeah, making fun of stuff that, in my opinion, is absolutely ridiculous. I think, in my opinion, right, racism is ridiculous. I don't get it, right? I've never been persecuted for what I am. I never persecuted for anyone who for whatever they are. Um, it's just not in my life, and I don't. I just think it's ridiculous that these stories that I hear, it just doesn't make sense to me, and I kind of giggle, over it. And I'm sorry if anyone's ever been through it, but I don't know. Like I'm not gonna pound my fist on the table because some guy couldn't sit next to a white guy and drink coffee, 50, 60 years ago. I'm not doing that. It's over. Like they fixed that. Relax. This kid that friggin' stabbed this kid at school to death. They want you to believe that because he was asked to get up or out of a seat, that it gave him the right, like the ghost of Rosa Parks somehow jumped in this kid's body and caused him to start stabbing. That's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I just it doesn't anger me. It's kind of like laughable. You got one woman who said the N word, right? In a park. She's got over $500,000. A kid stabs another kid in the chest and kills him. He's got over $500,000. It's like, what the hell's going on? You know?
This is you're talking about the two cases, both being separate, with the mom
Yeah.
saying this black kid like hit her kid or said something to her kid or said what some confrontation, and she said yeah, and she was
It's
recorded.
it's bizarre because people are being rewarded for bad behavior, and I can't make a joke about it. People died because of bad behavior. They're being rewarded, right? Financially. I can't make a goddamn dime.
But
Well,
David,
yeah.
you could see in that situation. I mean, that came off like very racial, though, right? Do you think in that situation was she right to say that? Do you think?
I don't listen. You go into church and you start making out with your girlfriend. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't know what happened. I don't think it's appropriate anyone using that kind of language, referring to anyone as that. You want to. I have freedom of speech, right? So I can call you an asshole. That doesn't protect me from getting punched in the face. And because I might have called you an asshole and you're not together, maybe you're short tempered. I caused that. I caused that. I'm doing a show on fucking YouTube. It's a fucking
Yeah,
comedy show. And these people are being rewarded monetarily for acting like animals in public.
yeah.
That that that
That's
that's
that's that's bizarre. DJ, can
yeah,
you see if you could pull up how much money that lady has raised? Because I think she did s- open up a GoFundMe, and I think that's what David you're referring to, right? With
yeah,
she
absolutely.
got like $500,000. DJ,
Like,
see if you could find that GoFundMe amount. I am curious to know where it's at, how much money she's made off of that. She's fucking set, dude.
like seriously, like I can't tell a pedophile joke, can't tell a dead baby joke, can't tell a rape joke, can't tell an N-word joke, and I don't make any money. It's like, but it seems like you have to be some kind of like social justice warrior. I mean, BLM, right? They made how many millions of dollars off of
Oh my God.
rioting and setting stuff on
Yeah,
fire. This is
yeah, yeah.
ridiculous.
Can I tell you I fell for that BLM stuff 2021 because it like evoked an emotional response in me. I was like, "Oh, this is yeah, of course." Like every and I think any normal person it would evoke an emotional response. Like no one should be treated this way. But then I started to listen to them and watch them, and what they were doing was destroying neighborhoods, destroying businesses, lighting them on fire.
Yeah,
Uh,
they lost me, right? I was working in Brooklyn. I was down on in Dumbo. I had to park. Luckily, I was able to park in a garage that day, right? There were people. They set fire to the Brooklyn Bridge, right? Fire to the Brooklyn Bridge, vandalized everything in Manhattan leading into Brooklyn. Destroyed cars. I saw the city of New York ticketing people, ticketing people for parking incorrectly, going to work. They were writing fine. These people that were out there, they parked their ass in that friggin' that park outside the right by the bridge. They weren't supposed to be there. They had signs. They destroyed everything. Nobody was being arrested. It was really really bizarre, and I just think that when I see stuff like that, I think it's ridiculous, and I kind of giggle.
Yeah, I think you're hitting a really good point. I think New York has become a hub where it keeps rewarding bad behavior and
Yeah,
it keeps punishing people, hardworking Americans, people like you, people like me who go to work in the city to make a living. And they punish you by, like you said, the parking tickets, um, the it is mostly about the parking, the taxes, the New
yeah,
York freaking taxes, the congestion pricing that they've got going on now. Um, and it's like they don't even realize they're hurting the middle class so deeply. Rather than stopping crime, getting homeless, getting our streets clean, getting drugs off the streets, getting homeless people the help they need or off the street, uh, actually punishing people who are breaking the law in New York. So that's a constant struggle, I think, in New York City. And I don't, do you think we'll ever get to a point where it's cleaned up? Because I do hear from people that New York was really safe and a great place to be when Mike Bloomberg was the mayor, when what's the guy before him?
how old are you?
I'm 29.
All right. So I'm 45. All right. In 1997, 1996, we used to drive into
Giuliani. Giuliani is the
yeah,
person I'm thinking of.
we used to drive into Manhattan to go to these record stores. We used to go through Lincoln Tunnel. You know when you get out the Lincoln Tunnel and it like splits off, when you come through Lincoln Tunnel it splits off.
Yeah,
There
you're
used to be
going, yeah,
yeah,
towards the bus terminal and
yeah.
city. Yep.
There used to be squeegee men there. And what they tell you about these squeegee men. What they were doing was you would drive through, they would stop traffic. If you didn't put the $5 bill out the window, they'd break off your mirrors, they'd kick your car, they'd break your windshields, like stuff like that. That's why they elected this right wing Republican mayor to clean up the city. They enforced broken windows policies. I don't think people realize how bad it was up until Giuliani. And if you weren't alive for that, man, it could be really, really, really bad over there. You know?
Yeah, I've heard stories from my father about how shitty New York was, how he got robbed a few
Yeah,
times coming back from work. And what's sad is what it does is it starts to destroy the city from within. And then going back to racism, what it starts to do is that it starts to put, certain societies like let's say black people in a negative light, where now if they're, a black woman or a black man wants to hail a cab to get home, they're not stopping for you, you know.
yeah.
They
It's
also,
sad.
uh,
Yeah,
this is, I guess, controversial in today's era, but I think they should bring back the three-strike rule. Are you familiar with that?
yeah. So this is the problem, and I know you know this, right? People that they're going to do that to. are mentally ill people. There's the gangs, the gang members, and all. I don't care about them. They're not the ones. I really don't think you have to worry about the mafia. I really don't think you have to worry about the MS-13. I don't think you have to worry about these black gangs or whatever. They're not. They don't give a shit about you. They're there to make money. They're trying to make money. They're you know. I'm talking about these mentally ill people that are running through the streets that could easily be scooped up, put into housing, or put into a hospital. The people that are going to be affected by the three strike rule will be mentally ill people that are in the subway, and that's how they're going to get rid of them. I don't think that's right. I think they should open up a mental hospital for these people, house them there. If you can, the gangsters and all that crap, dude, you're not gonna have a problem with them. There's no way they're not gonna bother you. The safest place in Manhattan when I was growing up was Little Italy. You want to know why? Because no one would cause problems there because of the mobsters. They just wanted to make money off you.
That's got to come full circle, though. If they're trying to make money off of you, it's off of selling you drugs, right? I mean, doesn't that
I never bought drugs off. I buy drugs off of like my friends. You know, that's how I grew up. We used to go into Washington Heights when weed was legal, and we get this stuff called Frankenstein. It was like the cheapest of the cheapest weed that you could buy. It was all mixed up crap. It was like all the shake, and those guys weren't looking to rob you. They weren't looking to whatever. They just wanted the $20 and you leave and come back every friggin' week or whatever. Tell your friends to come here. I'm sure they were involved in gang stuff, but it wasn't like I don't know. I mean, like if you're saying that like fentanyl is the reason why we have gangs, I don't think so. I don't think it's the gang members.
fentanyl is? I feel like if it wasn't fentanyl, it'll be something else. To me, what scares me the most about these gangs is that how many times you try to stop them, they're gonna find a way to export their drugs,
Yeah,
and eh, they're gonna find a way to do it. And every time you crack down on it, I feel like it gets worse and worse. Like the drugs get stronger and stronger. Like fentanyl, for example, right? The fentanyl that's coming from China is what they're saying. That thing is 100 times stronger than morphine, man. It's like 50 times stronger than heroin. And
I don't know about you, right? And I don't know if you're ever gonna be honest about it. I never did cocaine, never did hallucinogenics, never whatever. Never interested me. I was never that type of guy. I don't drink. I smoke cigarettes and drink coffee. That's what I do, right? I I
mm,
think I have a vape on me. I do vape marijuana. Everyone because now it's legal, right? You could like
yeah,
basically,
yeah,
but I don't get like wasted. I think that there's people out there that want to get so fucking high, they want to escape reality. If they don't get it from these gangs, they'll get it from the doctors, which they were, right?
yeah, yeah.
And people just want to. I don't know. There's some. I don't know.
So
My point
do
is, you
you
were talking
do
about
you,
three strike rule. I think that's not going to affect these gangs. I really think it's going to affect these lunatics out there that are on the streets. And for some strange reason, no one sees that as a problem. No one sees these people with mental illnesses on the street as a problem. Again, you can see a guy taking a shit right in Manhattan, right?
yeah,
Children,
yeah.
children are walking by, um, and they're just like it's not happening because the guy's mentally ill. People avoid mental illness like the fucking plague over here, and nobody's crazy anymore. Everybody's just like doing their thing.
I feel like there's definitely a bigger push. There's a bigger campaign to push mental health awareness to let people know like, hey, this is a real thing. It is a problem. Um, I still think we should bring it back though. And I think if it cleans up the streets by putting these people away, okay. They shouldn't be
Yeah,
on the streets to begin with.
yeah,
They
but you're
should
gonna put
be
them in jail. You're gonna put them in jail.
I don't think they should necessarily be in jail. I think they should, be in an asylum, where they could get the proper help they need. It may be not the help that you and I want for them, but it's better than them taking a shit on the street and it's better than that, better than them disturbing the peace and, you know, being a menace to society.
So maybe you're not aware, but there's people on YouTube who have mental illness, quote unquote mental illness. They're on disability. They're not in a hospital. They're getting student loans. They're getting degrees. All right. They're traveling the country.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was involved with a community where there were two individuals that traveled the country for 2 to 3 years on the taxpayer dime. They were getting, they had degrees, right? They were more educated than I was. One of them made a porno. One of them was making a porno with taxpayer dollars. You know what I mean? Um, it's like, why are these people roaming the country, right? They're not. I just see this being a very big problem. And you talk about putting them in asylums. What asylum? Where is there an asylum that we could put them in? It's like it
Now
doesn't fit.
that's an interesting question because I do think our infrastructure in that field, that mental health sector, is it's dilapidated. It's and it needs maintenance. We need to go and fix it, and we need to go upgrade it so that when we do put these people in this in these cares, they get the proper care, they get the right care. And I have a friend who works with homeless people a lot, and I've gotten involved with it many years ago, a little bit, just to see what it's like. And I would see him say, "Hey, so and so, here is the shelter. Please go there." And a lot of time I noticed is that they would not accept his help to go to these shelters. And then I asked him, I was like, "Hey, buddy, like, why is it that like they don't want to go here?" And he's like, "Amir, the reason why they don't want to go there is because they get robbed there, they get treated like shit there, um, and even in extreme cases, they get assaulted and raped in these
Yeah,
shelters." So that's why I think we do need to go in and do maintenance checks on these shelters to make sure that they're updated, um, and these people are getting the proper care. I still think we should bring back three strikes though, because I think it puts the fear of God in people. Uh, like, hey, you want to steal, you want to go rob this store once, you want to do it again twice. Okay, go ahead, try, do it again three times. Like you're going away.
but why give them three? Why give them three strikes? Give them one. You want to put the fear of God in people? Give them one, right? I don't know. All I'm saying is that I think the people that are going to be, because people manipulate shit and they try to they skirt laws and they're fence walkers, right? I truly believe that the only people that are going to be affected by this are mentally ill people. You're going to have jails filled with mentally ill people. The people who are smart enough that are out there, really dangerous people, maybe extorting others, whatever. They're not going to get caught. They're not going to get caught.
Why do you think they're not going to get caught?
Um, because a lot of these guys, what they're doing now, right? Especially in New Jersey. Let's say I wanted to sell drugs. All I got to do is put a bunch of drugs in the backpack of a kid, right? Or someone who's under the age of 21, have them ship it throughout New Jersey, and they won't get in trouble for it. That's what's going on. They're using children to do this shit. I
So
don't
kids,
know if
you're
you're
saying
aware.
no, no, I'm not. I'm not aware of that. If you could tell me a little more, tell me more about that, that would be cool to learn.
So yeah, so they're using children as like drug mules. They're getting children to steal cars, etc., because the children are not going to be prosecuted. They're not going to go. They're not going to have a criminal record. New Jersey is very bizarre because New Jersey doesn't want, if you're under the age of 18 or I think 21, or this article that I read, they do not want to ruin a young person's life by throwing these charges on them. They want them. So what these criminals know this, and they hire these kids to do this stuff. It's a real big problem in New Jersey. I'm sure it is in New York too. My point is that people who
Mhm.
you think are going to be
Yeah,
affected by this three strike rule aren't
yeah.
stupid. They're not stupid. The people who are stupid, who will be affected by it, in my opinion, right,
Hmm.
are the mentally ill, and you're going to have a humongous problem of mental illness in prisons. You're going to turn prisons into mental wards.
So I guess to go back to my question, how do you think we do clean up these streets in New York City?
I think mental illness. I think you open up hospitals and you get these people who are assaulting people on the subways, who are out there probably raping women, maybe even men, children. They're all mentally ill, and you put them in mental institutions, get them the help they need, take them off the streets, and then worry about these gang members. The majority of the people I see causing problems in Manhattan, Bronx, Brooklyn, they're all mentally handicapped. They're more not handicapped, but mentally ill.
Hmm.
And even on YouTube, a lot of the people that cause problems on YouTube, social media, they're mentally ill people.
Yeah, interesting. I never thought about it that way. That is an interesting perspective to say, but it makes sense. Like open up more hospitals, provide them the care that they need.
School shootings, right? You ever see these school shooters? You ever see when they
Oh
put a
my God,
picture?
they
The,
look
the
they look
last,
scary. They look
yeah,
scary as shit, man.
right,
They look scary as shit.
right.
Like bowling and Columbine. Oh God.
Okay, so you look at kids like that. They're obviously on scrupulous amounts of medication. They're probably mentally ill, and the only people that are watching them are probably their drug addict caring parents. They get their guns. They go into these schools. They shoot people. They shoot whatever, and then we see a picture of a kid on the front cover of some newspaper going like this, like looking like he's insane. And nobody's
Yeah.
questioning how come this kid wasn't in a mental institution. How come this? I want to know what kind of prescription medications this person was on. Nobody cares. They're on psychotropics to alter the state they're
Yeah.
thinking, and we're blown away that they're getting hold of guns and killing people. This is incredibly insane, and it's ridiculous. I don't know.
That is such a good point. And you know what's even for me, what's even a little scarier is that teachers can prescribe these students medications,
Yeah.
and uh, and and I think in certain cases it's like it's without the parents' consent. Now, I don't know how true that is, but I think I have heard of cases where they could prescribe students medication without the parents' consent or knowledge. Um, but yeah, that is a very scary thing to see these kids and you look at them and you like, holy shit, yeah, what the hell have they been on that they look this scary? And it is these medicines that turn them into zombies.
I was in special education from third grade to graduation in high school. When I graduated, there were a few kids that got in trouble, and when you found out what they got in trouble for, there was one kid who went into a Dunkin' Donuts with a machete and tried hacking up a bunch of people. And this is Bergen County, dude. This isn't like, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, for context, Bergen County is one of the biggest county in New Jersey. It's one of the safest counties in New Jersey and richest counties in New Jersey.
so,
So for that to happen, it's alarming. Yes, right.
yeah.
Just to
So,
set the stage.
right. So this happens, and I knew the kid from high school, so I knew his family, whatever. They switched his they switched his medication. So throughout, I'm a naive kid. I grew up with these people. They were all on prescription medications to I was in there for dyslexia. Okay, there were a lot of kids in there with behavioral issues, especially in the '90s. They were just giving these kids fucking scrupulous amounts of drugs, blah blah blah. They finally get off them. They switch the medication. Boom! They're now zombies. They're now violent. They're now whatever. Um, that happened for a while, for about 5 years. I remember hearing stuff like this happening. Some of them went away to college. They thought that they were able to um, they were responsible enough to take their medication. Turns out they were abusing their medication, just like everyone who was on Adderall or Vyvanse or whatever. They end up abusing it. Um,
Yeah.
and there was one kid I went to high school with who was on this crap. He took down a plane. They landed a plane early, like he was. It's just I don't know. there's a
They had to
lot of
do
mental
they had to
illness
do an
out there.
emergency landing for
Yeah,
him. Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
He was freaking out.
This was before 9/11. Supposedly Nigerians were in the plane trying to kill him. Some stupid story like that. But my point is that this has been going on for a long, long time. It's just that these kids didn't get a hold of guns, you know, and
Yeah.
the reason why they were freaking out like that is because they were either abusing their medication, their psychotropics, or they weren't taking enough of it, or they wore off and they changed the medications or whatever. And these children that I grew up with, I look back at now and I'm like, they were all mentally ill, but you don't know that you know when you're younger. You just think that they're bad kids. I don't know.
So here's where I stand on this. I don't think kids are mentally ill. Um, I think what ends up happening is that there are issues in their home life where maybe the kid isn't getting enough attention. And I've seen this in my own family where I've seen these kids and they're just hyperactive. Um, and what ends up happening is that they're not getting the care they need at home from their mom, their dad, their brother, whatever it may be. And so the teachers suggest, hey, um, let's put them on medicine. And if you're a parent who's just a working class parent, you're just trying to get by, you're living paycheck to paycheck, you really aren't educated. You listen to these people who are telling you what's the best thing for your son or your daughter.
Yeah,
When really all your son and your daughter may need is a little more of your attention, where you spend quality time with them, um, rather than listening to these teachers and these principals who want to turn them into zombies. And dude, I've seen that, and I've seen it happen to kids in my like, little cousins of mine who I see now that I go, oh, he is a little different. Um, he seems very like just it's kind of stiff. Um, so
I
yeah,
should
that
never. I should never have graduated high school. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? They pushed me through high school. Um, I was one of those kids, like it was tough, man, because like I had my parents had been divorced. I was dealing with like special education, whatever. So like I wasn't like a bad kid, but like I just kind of gave up at one point. And never did homework. I would show up. I would play the game. I would show up. I would participate in class, and oh look, Dave the idiot, whatever. And they pushed me through high school. I think the teachers and the parents, just like you say, I think they want to take the path of least resistance, and they
yes,
want all these
yes,
kids to graduate. They want all these kids
yes.
to be whatever they would. It looks good.
Yes, for the school, look at a graduating
Yeah,
percentage class.
yeah.
It's going up every year. More funding. We need more funding because now our class is getting bigger and bigger.
And what they did to me was, I look back at it, it was a total. It didn't help me out at all. Like so, I was very good at certain things, and I showed interest in certain things, and I wish they had showed me how to make money doing that. They showed me how to, participate in that profession or whatever. And I get it, like you can't really do that. But if they had done something like that, it would have helped me out tremendously, and I think that I would have benefited from it. Now I'm just barely making enough to get by. I've graduated high school, you know what I mean? But um, I'm very lucky that they didn't put me on any medication, dude. Actually, they wanted to at one
Dude,
point.
same here.
Yeah,
Same here. Same here.
and I said no.
I appreciate you sharing that. That,
Yeah,
that's and I'll share with you that's very similarly what happened to me in fifth grade. They wanted to put me on medication because I was hyperactive. And thank God my parents said, fuck no.
yeah,
Um, and they said, we're gonna spend a little more time with our son. And they did. And I'm very grateful and I'm appreciative that my parents did because I'm just happy that I wasn't medicated. So you never were medicated too, right? And like you said, okay.
never. never.
Yeah.
I when I got older, I had a friend who actually became a doctor,
Hmm.
and I explained this to her, like, she goes, "It might have benefited you." She gave me she prescribed me something, and I tried it, and it didn't feel right, man. I don't know how the hell people take that stuff. Um, I'm very much, if I'm not in tune, like if I don't like have like emotion, like I feel like I'm dead. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It made me
Yeah.
feel it made me feel like very
Emotionless.
yeah, it's just like it made me like feel like I was just floating around, like going through the motions, and I didn't like it. I can't imagine being put on that at a very young age, and then
And
you know,
staying on that shit for years. Can you
yeah.
imagine what that does to a kid? It probably destroys their creativity, their childhood, their friendships, their passion of what they want to do and become. My God.
Yeah.
And like we said, zombies, they become zombies.
A lot of these younger kids, like I'm talking about in their 20s, that are on YouTube, they're a majority of them are trying to get on disability. Like, what are you talking? Like, what? They don't want to work. They want to be on disability, which is really weird.
Yeah.
That's I just can't imagine. Like, I want to create. Like, I want to go out and experience things. Like, I want to make my own money and buy whatever I'm geeking out on right now. And you know what I mean? Like, I want to drive across the country. Like, I want to. These kids, they want it. They seem like they would just want to be at home, get a paycheck, get stoned, and be on YouTube. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, like not living in reality, but living, well, I guess their version of reality, but living kind of in this simulation world. But dude, that's the thing I'm talking about. We were like, if I could tie that to what I was saying earlier about Mark Zuckerberg with AI
Yeah.
friends, I like that's exactly one of the reasons why I don't support him on this because I'm like, Zuck, like do you not see what we're doing? We're destroying these kids if we're saying let's have AI chatbots that are your best friends and that are personalized. Like you're taking away the ability, that human instinct we have to want to be with others and want to meet people and build relationships.
Well, that's why I kind of like backed off on the whole kid stuff because a lot of these kids they don't want to they want to be like told what to do, which is weird. They want I guess I don't want to use the word like hive mind or whatever the hell they call it. They
Mhm.
want that and they feel accomplished by repeating something that they heard another person say. And I could see that's dangerous, especially if that thing is saying something that maybe isn't good for capitalism or freedom or anything like that. I mean, I really do think that there's a possibility that if you, this is why I think Kanye is good with this. There's a possibility that you can turn these kids into like racist animals. We almost saw it with them. They had people hating white people for a very long time in this country. And when I mean a long time, I mean like maybe 5 years. But there were people that were feeling guilty about being white. They thought that they were born racist. Children were being told this, and I think it went both ways. I think black children are told that regardless of whatever you do, there's a monster out there that's going to hate you because of the color of your skin.
I hate that narrative, dude. I dislike that narrative so much because for me that it goes against every grain of what I believe as a principled man. It's like my parents taught me that nothing is given to you, you have to earn it. And I think when parents teach their kids that someone's gonna not like you because of the skin color, it, it, it's you're brainwashing them. You're setting them up to fail because every time they want to go and thrive and accomplish something, they're gonna second guess themselves and say, "Oh, well, I didn't get that job because I'm Hispanic. I didn't get this job because I'm Middle Eastern. He didn't like me or she didn't like me because of this."
Yeah,
And it's like no, it could just be because you didn't have the grades for it.
Yeah,
You
you're just
you
shitty
weren't
at it.
qualified. You weren't
Yeah,
qualified. You were not qualified for it. And
or try
so
harder.
it's the victimization mindset. And so you do bring a very valid point. I absolutely agree with that. Let me tell you a funny story. I was one of my jobs I had many years ago. I worked in marketing, the industry, and um, I got hired, and I was a DEI hire. You know about DEI, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Diversity,
yeah, yeah.
equity, inclusion. And when I found out that I was a DEI hire, I was livid.
How did you find that out?
So one of the way that's a good question. One of the ways I found out is that when we have a cloud-based system where you could drag and drop and upload stuff like any corporate company, right? You have shared files. And I clicked into a folder that um, took me back like 5 years because the work I did was kind of repetitive. It was the same thing every month. And I saw a name in there. I was like, oh, but the file that I was uploading had the same name. It was the same name file, but it was uploaded by someone else. And the name that this uh, person was a South Asian name, a Muslim name. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. The person prior to me that's doing the job that I have just happened to be Muslim. Then I went back another 5 years or 2, 3 years or whatever it was. I saw another person with the same uh, Muslim name. And I made the connection that this job was given to me because of DEI. And dude, I packed my bags
Yeah,
so
that's,
quick because it pissed me because then I realized no matter how hard I'm gonna work at this job,
yeah.
there are obstacles that I'm gonna have to go through that I'm kind of in this battle that I'm not gonna win. It's like the deck is stacked against you. And so I was like, if I'm not being hired off my merits, I'm out of here. So I left. And I would encourage everyone to do that if they're in a position where you feel like you're a DEI hire. Um,
You know what's like really depressing about it. Well, this has to do with DEI. So they're basically telling you that based on the color of your skin, right, you have no chance, and they have to create a chance for you to, whatever. They did that to me with the PSATs and the SATs and all that stuff because of my dyslexia. I have a neurological deficiency or disorder that's called dyslexia, right? And they're basically treating you the same way that they would treat me because of my neurological disorder, but because of the color of your skin. The fucked up thing is, man, like I can't go to a job and tell them that I'm dyslexic. In fact, I have to hide my dyslexia. You know what I mean? I won't get hired. Every job that I have ever gotten, I had to keep that. I couldn't tell my employer that. I told them later on after they hired me, but you know what I mean? I wish I
no
could use
dyslexia.
that. I wish I could use that to get jobs, but I can't.
You thought you could put me behind the counter, huh? I don't think so.
I don't know. Yeah, I can
But
see how
dude,
that's.
like talking to you, I don't see that at all. Like you seem it's like a normal person that I would have a conversation with.
Write something. You want to know something? That email that you sent me.
Yeah, yeah.
You know how many times I read that? That's one page, right?
Oh, the one pager. Yeah, the one pager. Yeah.
I had to read that 8 times.
Oh
So
shit.
imagine if like that was my job. It would have. It's. I understand people need to make money. They're not there to like wait for you and all stuff.
Yeah.
And
Can I ask like what why did you have to read it 8 times?
so as I'm
Okay.
reading,
Mhm.
yeah. as I'm reading.
I was gonna break down what it is just for context for people. Like what when I invite people onto the podcast, I send that same one pager to everybody because I'm a big believer in a one pager. Like if you know, especially when it comes to social media and podcasting, let people know what it is that you're doing. And
Yeah.
this is a podcast where I invite people on that I find interesting or want to learn more about and learn from. Um, and it's pretty much telling them what the podcast is, the schedule, and how if there are things that they want to talk about, you know, if they're a professional in something, we could stay on that. But if they want to just banter, we could just banter. But sorry, go ahead. Why did you
So
read it 8 times?
when I read, there's words that either I leave out or I misinterpret as other words, and then the comprehension of it, I have. So I read it, I comprehend it, I read it again to make sure I didn't make a mistake. I did, right? And I third guess myself, and I go through it again, and I have to
Yeah.
do it like maybe 4 or 5 times before I'm like, okay, that's exactly what I read. So for instance, like something like that, like is like reading a paragraph is like reading a novel to someone with severe dyslexia because you're putting a lot of energy and a lot of rereading and a lot of words that don't need to be read 20 times. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's a comprehension skill,
I,
comprehension problems as well with the dyslexia because
I I thought you were gonna say you read it 8 times because you wanted to, you know, you were like looking to make sure like you weren't signing your soul away or something.
no, I don't care. I just don't want to. So my biggest fear is ruining something for someone that puts in a lot of time and effort. Obviously, you do, right? And I don't want to ruin anything. And I don't want to do. I don't want to be like, oh man, I can't read. Like that's the reason why. So it's happened to me before. I know you're smiling, dude, but it's happened to me before, and
No,
it
tell
sucks.
me about it. Tell me about it.
Um. Okay, so if I didn't have autocorrect, right, with the text messages
Yeah.
and whatever, you would think I was retarded. I swear to God, man. So obviously I'm not, right? You can have a conversation with me, and
Yeah.
um I come across as retarded with spelling and writing. When I read things, see, I don't want to make myself look really, really stupid, but this is serious, all right? Um, if someone gave me directions, right? A boss, an employer, a coworker, 9 times out of 10, I'd fuck it up because I read it incorrectly, and that has cost me jobs. That has cost me relationships with women too, and
Yeah.
you know, so it's a real issue. I don't really know
Yeah.
too many dyslexic people. Dyslexic people usually keep their shit secret. They don't want anyone knowing, which is weird. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's how it is. And it's embarrassing because you're not really retarded, but you are. I don't know how else to describe it.
No, you're stop. You're not. You were not retarded. But
It's
yeah,
a
like
form of retardation, right? I mean, it's um, a neurological disorder that causes you to be, I guess, deficient with reading words. That's a form of retardation. It's got to be. I just don't benefit from being retarded. That's what I'm trying to get at.
you know, you've got your YouTube going. You know, you've got a following, obviously. Clearly, you're doing something right.
Yeah, I think it was just like I said. I think it's just like the racist jokes and the pedophile jokes, and I'm not like proud of it, but like I think it's got me attention, and I don't know if it's the right attention. You know what I mean? I'd,
Yeah.
I'd much more I'd much more be happy. I'd be much more happy um, doing a show like this every day than having to tell poo poo and pee pee jokes and you know. So
See, yeah, and that's when you do the lives, right? It's like
yeah,
you're playing a character or you're maybe simulating something. Yeah, dude, that's so I used to also I've done lives. And that's one of the things I realized when I was doing lives. I didn't like that. Like I didn't. because there was no human interaction. Yes, you're chatting with people, like, right, the live stream. Uh, but by the time you digest what they've said, you've read it out loud and you digest it, it's not the same as like this conversation we're having, where I'm having a conversation with the top of your roof of your car.
Oh, sorry. You want to know the truth? You're gonna get mad at me. So I have not only do I have dyslexia, but I have a humongous cyst on my kidney, so I'm actually peeing into a bottle right now. I swear to God. So sorry. This is real.
This is this is real life, everybody.
Yeah. So I got a lot of fucked up things going on with me. I lost my hair when I was 26. Um,
So are you in the city right now? Are you just coming
no,
out of work?
I'm down the street. I hang out at this gas station. Um, and basically, I do live streams from a gas station every once in a while. I can't afford to go into Manhattan on the weekends anymore. Plus, there's this girl I was dating out there. Um, and she's crazy. And she finds out she watches my live streams, and when she finds out that I'm in Manhattan, she like starts calling and she's fucking insane, dude. Fucking insane.
Sounds like she sounds like she's in love with you, man.
Yeah, but she's crazy. I can't deal with it. She told me that she had
Crazy and
AIDS.
crazy in love.
Well, she told me she had AIDS. I had to go to a clinic recently. I got blood work done. I got this humongous needle stuck in my ass. I had to take a fucking a shitload of doxycycline because they didn't know if she had anything. Or so she tells me that. Then she tells me she's pregnant. Right. So this girl's just a troublemaker. She's trying to get me to go crazy.
So you've had to go to so she's told you had AIDS. No, she's told you that she's had AIDS, and so you got
Yeah.
tested. What's that test process like if if they're testing you for AIDS? I thought it would just be blood work.
Yeah. So no, they took 4 vials of blood. They do a full STD and an AIDS panel, whatever it is. It was 4 vials. And the nurse comes in and she goes, "Do you think you have anything?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Like, I just met this chick and she's telling me she has AIDS. I figure I have everything, you know?" And doctor comes in, you have a talk with the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Listen, if you do have anything in the state of New Jersey, when you get the test back, you can you can get the medicine for free. So it's a public health thing. Or you can just give me $40 and I'll shoot you up with a bunch of shit right now so you don't have to worry about it." So I gave him $40. They big needle, dude. I don't know if you ever had that before. First time for
Oh,
me.
the biggest needle I've got was like when I had braces and they were coming off. They injected my mouth with like this giant needle. But why are they sticking it in your ass?
Um, I don't know. That's where they put it. This little Mexican chick comes
Oh,
in.
I guess it's because it's fat. I guess it's that's they try to yeah.
Well, that's what they thought. I have a very muscular rear end. I swear to God, because the chick comes in. It's this little Mexican chick. She's a cute little Mexican chick. She's like, I'm like, "Where are you putting that?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "In your butt." I'm like, "Okay." So, you gotta drop your pants, and she's trying to squeeze onto my very muscular butt, and it wasn't happening. She's like, "Can you please stop flexing?" And I said, "It's not gonna happen." She goes, "It's gonna hurt," and it just burnt a little bit, but it wasn't. I was just glad it wasn't going in my dick. That would have been the worst, man.
Oh my God.
Imagine that.
So you came back negative though.
Right, right.
Okay. Okay. Good man. So and now are you cutting all ties with this crazy chick in New York?
Um. Well, yeah.
That's a no. It sounds like it's a
Well,
no.
so I'm gonna be
You
honest with you, all
hesitated.
right? All right, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell you why.
Say you like her, man. You got a crush on her.
No, well, I really like her. I do. I thought she was awesome until I found out that
She had
she's
AIDS.
like one. Well, she's like a cam girl. I didn't know that,
Oh,
and I'm trying not to get sued either. But she asks for a lot of money, dude. She asks for a lot of money.
oh,
Yeah,
dude, you got to be that's the red flag. That's the red
yeah,
flag.
that was a
Yeah, yeah. I've had I know someone who was messing with some of these cam girls, and then she asked him for a shit ton of cryptocurrency,
yeah.
and he gave it to her, and then she disappeared from the face of the earth, and she stopped doing her webcam, and she took all his money. So you got to be careful with that shit.
She was 25 years old, and I was like, oh, I scored, you know. You know what I mean, man? Listen, you wouldn't. You're 29 or whatever the hell you are, whatever old you are, still in your 20s. When you get into your 40s, you'll understand. You know, your dick don't
Understand
work.
what?
It's
Understand what?
nothing fits anymore. Your hair fall, and you're probably gonna have all your hair. You have nice hair, by the way, gray hair.
Thank you.
Like
I
everything
take
starts
pills
like
for this. I take pills and I take and rosemary oil. That's what I do every morning. You take some rosemary oil,
you
get
know,
it going.
can grow a full beard. Looks like you can.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you got to watch out because guys that can grow a full beard, they usually go bald. You got that high. Well, whatever.
So yeah, go sorry.
My point is that nothing fits right anymore. Your hair falls out. Your fucking back hurts. Whatever. Like right now, you're Superman. You can do whatever you want. You can like fuck on a fucking a tricycle, whatever. Doesn't matter, dude. I can't do that anymore. I scored this like 25-year-old chick. That's like whatever. She's doing all the work. It was great, and then boom, it's like it brings you. And I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. Why would any 25-year-old chick want to be with some old fucking balls? And it's kind of a
I don't know,
letdown.
dude. Look at that. Look at Bill Belichick, man.
Yeah, that
He's
guy's got money.
scoring.
That guy's got money. Broke is a joke, man. I'm like fucking one paycheck away from living inside of this Rav Four. You know.
You got to make that YouTube stuff work out, man. I feel like you could do it. You know.
Well, I'm an artist. Can I show you some of my art?
Hell yeah.
I do. I
I
do.
saw some of your art and I was gonna that's one of the things I have written down on my notepads here that I wanted to ask you about your artwork because your drawings are pretty cool. Your sketches that you do.
Yeah. So I've never made money off my artwork. It's the only thing like anyone's ever told me I was good at. I used to be when I was like 13. I was in a band, and I used to make money performing, like doing music. And I thought like, oh yeah, eventually I'll do that with art. Never have. And it's like one of my biggest letdowns in life, not being successful at something that you're good at, or something that people say that you're good at. You know, so it's just very. I do like a lot of comic book stuff. Like, um, here's a. I don't know if you can even see it, but there's a Wolverine. I
That's
do like very.
amazing.
Yeah, I do like very nasty. Like I love comic books. I've always loved comic books. I love the I love like the black and white like ink and stuff like that. And it's just I don't know, like I can't make money doing it. You
I
know?
feel like you could make money doing it, man. I feel like so we're in an era, a digital era where you know, you can find your niche market uh, as long as you're able to promote it and talk about it. I feel like maybe you just need to promote your artwork a little more than you're doing now.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe.
and start and maybe, you know, start like selling it, like say ask people who if they would want to buy it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would want to buy that. That's handcraft art. It's not something everybody could do. It's not AI generated. It's something you've done with your hands. It's very creative.
Well, I don't think people are buying art, especially comic book art. But
I was just at a comic store not too long ago in New York City. I'll send you the place I was at. It was pretty cool.
you know, well, it's just a bummer for me. I'm sorry. I don't I don't like this whole dyslexia thing. The 24-year-old girlfriend, the
Dude,
failed
don't
artist
dude,
stuff.
dude, don't be too hard on yourself. I feel like you gotta give yourself a break. You gotta be easier on yourself. And I feel like you're a little too hard on yourself when it comes to the dyslexia, the art. Um, and like again, we've been talking for the past 2 hours, and
Yeah.
I don't feel that at all. So I think it's up here, and and just be kinder to yourself. And I've realized, and that's something I'm learning too, is to be kinder to yourself, to forgive yourself. Um, or else it's like or else you're just going to be in your head. It's like the more you think about your problems, and you keep feeding them life instead of
Yeah.
like, I had someone on the podcast and he was talking about a practice called Vipassana, which is you go on this retreat for 10 days. It's a silent retreat. And you get to know yourself a little more on that retreat. And what you do is you sit down in this Buddhist kind of temple, and you let your thoughts come, and you acknowledge those thoughts. You don't weep about them. Let them come to you, and then you let them pass. Um, and in that and doing that, like there's a self-discovery process that I had this guy telling me about, and it was really interesting to learn. And from my takeaway from that podcast with him was that you have to be nicer to yourself and kinder to yourself, and be forgiving. And yeah, dude, I I wish that you practiced that a little more.
No, no, I have, and I hate to say this, but like, you know where that leads? And I'm not arguing with this man. I think he's right, but it leads to an I don't give a shit type of mentality. And I think that at one point in my life, worrying about all the mistakes that I was making kind of gave me a form of PTSD, where I would stay up at night because I made a mistake at work, or I made a mistake in a relationship, or I made, whatever. And it just, I had to basically say, I don't give a shit anymore. I know that I'm coming across as like, oh, poor me. Like, dude, I trust me, I'm over it. I've been over it for like 15 years, 20 years. You know, I don't want to sound like a loser either. It's just that I guess I'm used to disappointment, or not working out. If that makes any sense. So,
You can ask, why do you think you're used to disappointment?
um, well, I mean, on planet Earth, you're never really going to win, right? I mean, I don't want to be a bummer, but you lose your parents, you lose your loved ones. Some people lose their kids. Some people, I mean, the greatest thing on planet Earth for me, right? I have these two dogs. Um, Dogs are animals that love you more than they love themselves, right? And you only get a certain amount of years with them, and you lose them. Like some of the greatest things in life, you eventually lose. So you become really good at accepting the fact that you're going to lose. I don't know if that makes sense to you yet. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that like I'm an older dude with wisdom, but you got to get good at losing. Like you can't be a sore loser in life, you know, because that's what keeps you up at night. That's what kept me up at night, and maybe that's why I make fun of retards and the N word, and um, I make pedophile jokes because it's just ridiculous stuff. I guess it really doesn't matter. I don't know.
That works for you. Yeah, like I guess you try to see the humor in it
Yeah.
as and it's can I this is funny, like, so funny but sad. So my father passed away not too long ago, and I had to wash his body. And uh it's a very
Is that like a cultural thing or a religious
it,
thing?
it's a religion. It was one of his religious wishes.
Mm.
um and I mean, when I die, I'm like, you know put me in a closed casket. I don't want anyone seeing me like that. But whatever, for him, that's what he wanted. And I'm at the morgue washing his body. Of course, it's a very it's emotional. It's an emotional feeling that you have this dead person in front of you, your father. Um, but I tried to find the humor in that, and I wanted to make a joke. I wanted to make a dick joke so fucking bad.
So did
Like I
I
wanted,
wanted to make a
like,
TikTok. It's
like
so
I,
funny.
w- I wanted to like, put my hand under the cloth and like raise the cloth up and be like, you look at the morgue technician and be like, dude, he's got a boner, you know, like just something bizarre. So maybe, that's kind of like our escape mechanism to kind of ease the tension to know that, hey, like, yeah, this is tough, but how do you find light in the situation so it's easier
Yeah,
to deal with?
because like being a human being, right, is in my opinion, you're supposed to be happy. Human beings want to be happy. They don't want to be miserable, right? So when bad things happen, sometimes to feel human, you got to laugh at it, right? You got to. I mean, I know
And
it's not appropriate to laugh at your father's passing, but I mean, like, I think your
he
dad
lived a
would
good
get
he
it.
lived a good he
Yeah,
lived a, he lived his life. He lived a good,
yeah,
happy life. I like to think so. And I'm in good spirit about it because when I think about him, I think of happy times, happy memories. And I don't want to say like, dismiss the fact that, um, I also think it's okay to be sad. Like, it's okay to be sad at times when it's a sad occasion.
yeah,
Um, so, but people get stuck in that sadness, I think, and so you've got to add a little bit of humor in it to
yeah.
lighten the mood.
That's the last thing I want to be is sad. I don't like crying, and I know there's appropriate times for everything, but like, I don't want to spend. I don't want to spend. I don't want to spend a second doing that. I don't know how you feel about it, but I don't like that. I don't like. I think some people might get off on the fact that they're miserable, that they're depressed. I think some people might like that feeling. I don't, and
I think people like. I don't think people like that feeling. I think they like making others feel that way like
like getting the
like
response.
yeah, like getting a
Or,
response, getting a reaction, um, getting under their skin. Yeah, I think people like that shit, which is weird to me because it's not how I was raised. Like I was always raised in the way like how do you lift people up rather than bringing them down? And bringing them down always is like the easier thing to do rather than lifting someone up because it requires more work and more effort and
yeah,
more of your attention to them. So
being,
the
being
bringing people down was always kind of a weird concept.
yeah, so like being encouraging is like a big part of like being Christian. Like you know, being encouraging to people that aren't doing well, aren't feeling well, aren't like financially stable, whatever. Um, I just think that there's a fine line between like disrespect of someone's like feelings or emotions or whatever. But um, like if your dad passes away, right, which he did, and I
Yeah.
just said, hey, listen, I'm sorry for your loss. Trust me, there's like 1,000 things I want to say to you, and I know it's not appropriate at that time, right? And maybe it's appropriate to talk about it later on. It's just I don't encourage you being sad. Like I would encourage you to be happy that you got to spend time with your father and all this
Yeah.
stuff. But it's sometimes it's inappropriate to say. That's why I think I get a lot of shit on YouTube because I think that sometimes maybe the people that I'm pandering to are fucking miserable fucks, man. They're just miserable, miserable people, and that's my audience. They're horrible, miserable people, and they want someone to say, "Don't say that. Don't do that. You're wrong." You know, I'd rather laugh than cry. 100%.
David, where can people find you and your work?
Well, if you just type in David Boldo or Noodles 1980, you will always find one of my channels. I have a channel that's like 23,000 subs. It's going to be nuked within the next couple of weeks. That's the David Boldo podcast. But there's again, if I disappear, just look up David. I'll be back. These fucking
Okay.
trolls, man. I swear to God. Yeah, like they report you for everything. This is like the 20th, 30th channel I've lost, dude. It's impossible.